if you were to talk to young people today, diba, starting, I know the employment market is not that great now, but they're going to start, what would be your advice to these 20, 21, 22 people? Hi, this is Randell Tiongson, and I'd like to invite you to attend the Unbox Success Conference. It's going to be on September 24. It's going to be a great way to learn non-traditional ways to build your wealth. It's going to be featuring me, Carlo Ople, Tony Herbosa, Chase Freo, Thea Bautista, and many others. Don't miss this.
Siguro if there's one message is, and we were talking about it earlier before going here on today's show, is I really feel strongly that the future of business is really the creator economy. Na if you're not a creator today, you will miss out on so many opportunities in business. When I say creator, it's about content creation on digital. Okay. On Instagram, on TikTok, on shows like this. Kumbaga, every entrepreneur is a creator, they just don't know it yet. Kasi if they don't lean into that, if they don't go into that space, pag-iiwanan sila ng mga competition. At mas lalong-lalo na, pag-iiwanan sila ng mga bata. Which means, lahat ng mga nanonood ng mga bagets ngayon na medyo mas bata sa akin, you guys are at a big advantage. You just need to focus and learn how to channel out the distractions that the world has to offer because there's so much, diba?
So much.
But if you're able to channel that skill set that you have and you're able to lean onto that and build like a business for yourselves, there's so many things that you can open up for yourself in terms of opportunity that our generation and the previous generation didn't have. I remember always saying this in my talk like 5-6 years ago, baka 10 years ago pa na parang yung advantage ng mga lolo't lola natin was real estate kasi napakamura. Ngayon, subukan mo bumili ng lupa. Ang hirap, di ba? Tas yung advantage feeling ko ng generation above us was entrepreneurship. When I say entrepreneurship, brick and mortar, na walang competition. Na magtayo ka ng 7-Eleven, dudumugin ng tao yan. Magtayo ka ng Jollibee kahit saan, dudumugin ng tao yan. Plus, napakamura pa ng capital back then para magtayo ng mga ganon. Ngayon, nag-evolve na siya, ang dami ng fees, ang dami ng mga barriers to entry plus competition. I've always maintained that this generation's unique advantage has always been digital.
Okay.
And you guys watching today who are young, you have to take advantage of that kasi that's one thing your parents and grandparents don't really know. Yun nga lang, instead of sabihin natin using your influence to just get likes and comments and self-validation, you have to understand that you're building an audience that you can eventually build a business on top of. So habang bata ka pa, sabihin natin dumadami followers mo, wag mo lang isipin na, uy, maraming nagpa-follow sa akin, maraming nagla-like sa akin, maraming nag-heart. Walang kwenta yon. Ang importante, you're building a community. You're building a base. What happens is, when you do decide to launch a business, yung biggest advantage ng creator is yung user acquisition cost ng isang creator for the new business is much lower.
Okay.
So for example, nung tinayo namin yung tindahan, hindi namin kinailangan mag-flyering, hindi namin kinailangan mag-billboard, kasi all I have to do is to post and talk to my community that I have a shop.
Yeah. And that's gonna give birth to
other businesses.
Yeah. Okay.
So yun yung unique advantage of this generation that I think even the older generation doesn't understand, and at the same time the younger generation doesn't realize the potential of that. I feel that my generation, which is the one that's caught in the middle, yung naranasan pang gumamit ng pager at yung telepono at dial-up internet. Yun yung generation.
Okay. So Carlo, that's a good, parang ganda no sinabi mo, but is it like the death of the brick and mortar business already? I mean, from where you're standing...
Ang dami kong negosyo na brick and mortar.
Patayo
nga ako barbershop.
From where you're standing at this point in time, diba? Everything's like, there's a move towards digital. What's going to happen to the typical traditional way of doing business? The traditional way of, the brick and mortar style. Stuff that our parents were, made money out of. Is that the way? Is it going to...
I think it won't die out anytime soon. Lalo dito na sa Pilipinas where malls play such a critical role. Lalo na ang init-init kasi tapos going to the mall is such a social family activity already. So there will always be a place for brick and mortar. However, the potential is much, much bigger if you infuse digital into your operations and into how you do things.
So it's a hybrid model now. It's not like the typical... So what you're saying is hindi pwedeng brick and mortar lang, ito lang, that's it. It can't be standalone.
Tsaka you learn from a lot of the things that you see with new business practices. Kunyari, you put up a barbershop, baka you can come up with a subscription service. Diba? Or sabihin natin, you can come up with how do you layer a digital concierge on top of that. I mean, there's so many ways that you can innovate the current business model with digital and technology. So to make it more enticing for people to come. So for example, barbershop. Ano ba naman yung maglagay ka ng area nasaan magse-selfie yung mga tao or magpipicture yung mga tao after they have their cut, di ba? Para lang mas maganda tingnan.
Kasi hindi pwedeng gawing virtual ang haircut.
Oh, hindi nga. So, pero just creating that experience that allows for them to enjoy a little bit more, I think is such a powerful.
I think we're seeing that now. We're seeing the convergence of digital and yan, that brick and mortar. And siguro companies now for all of you who want to be an entrepreneur, it's something that you need to consider. It means you need to study a little bit, you need to do a little bit of research. I know meron akong magandang story with a friend who has a big chain of restaurants. When Facebook was out, he started to put mga yung social media
Facebook
pages nila and
ads,
everything. And sabi niya, you know what, the good thing I learned about that is I can know what my customers want. Or so alam ko pag my staff is not doing its right job, I don't need to put that. I just have to read comments and stuff and I get to understand what's going on. So still a brick and mortar, and yet he was able to siguro infuse and use that as an advantage. Kasi, di ba, hindi naman mawawala yung brick and mortar, kakain ka pa din.
Hindi, the moment, going back to my point earlier, the moment that businessman or entrepreneur put up his Facebook page, he became a creator na.
Yeah.